Richard Rodgers with a walk-off touchdown. Total disbelief at Ford Field.
He may go all the way to the 20 down the right side, and it's Randall Cobb to the 5, to the end zone, to the touchdown. Oh my goodness.
Welcome, everyone, to the Green and Golden Boys Packers podcast, the podcast for Packer fans who just want to beat Tom Brady and the Bucs this week. I am your co-host, Charles, and with me, as always, is Marcus. Marcus, how are you?
I'm doing well, Charles. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Marcus, can we please just win in Florida and beat Tom Brady this weekend?
Yeah, seriously.
God.
Rodgers' record against Brady is not good. Brady is 4-1 versus Rodgers all time. And Rodgers is not good in Florida. He's 3-4 and a collective passer rating of 78.1. So I think we'd all like to, get that monkey off our back and have Rodgers play a good game. And if not now against a depleted Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, then I guess I don't know when.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the depleted offensive team, but, specifically offensive team for Tampa. But, we got, I don't know if we usually talk injury report right away, but I feel like that's the headliner this week. There's a lot of guys, particularly in one group, our wide receiver core, that's just like decimated with injuries. Do you want to kind of walk through some of those? And how do you feel, I mean, obviously it's going to impact the game, but I mean, I don't think I remember a game where so many offensive weapons were in question on both sides of the ball. It's kind of like a weird limping, matchup, especially for week 3.
Yeah, we got some new information this morning, and I may have to change my prediction. We'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, the Bucs are missing their top 3 targets for Tom Brady. Mike Evans was suspended last week for his hit, after the play.
Real quick on that, yeah, he got suspended for basically starting a fight. There's a lot of thought out there that there's collusion involved or conspiracy involved because the guy who first laid the suspension was Runyon's father. I don't know if you followed this at all, but
I did hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, let's take Mike Evans out for this Packer Bucs game. What do you think? You think there's a little collusion? You think the NFL?
Absolutely.
Got the fix in?
NFL is rigged. Yeah. I mean, unless it's written before the season, we're not going to win the Super Bowl. So yeah, no, that's pretty dumb. But yeah, I did hear that, and obviously, it sucks for Mike Evans. I think he'll learn from it moving forward. He won't do that again. But I mean, I feel like this is kind of Tom Brady's fault. I mean, he seemed to instigate the entire situation that led to that. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Who else is missing from Tampa?
So Julio Jones is also hurt with a knee injury. He's probably not going to play. He's listed right now as questionable, but by all accounts, he's not going to play. Chris Godwin is also hurt with a hamstring injury. He's already listed as out for this game. So those are essentially Tom Brady's top 3 targets. And then his, one of his top targets all time, obviously retired this year, which is Rob Gronkowski. So he's going to be without, essentially, 4 targets that he had, going into this game and last year. And they signed Cole Beasley off the street, and they're going to try to get him up to speed. And Tom Brady practiced on a Wednesday, which he never does. And yeah, I mean, points are going to be at a premium during this game for both teams. So it'll be interesting to see if we just kind of see a ground and pound, low scoring game, or if one team surprises us, or if both teams come out firing and, can put some yards up and some points on the board. But it's not looking likely at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to be a race to 20 points, and honestly, whoever gets there first might win the game, which is surprising when we're talking about, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. You think of, big numbers a lot of times, but both of these guys kind of have been winning games differently as of late. Obviously, Aaron without Devontae Adams, we're basically I won't say a run first team, but we're definitely turning it into a running back first team, whether that's in the air or directly handed off to them. Is there anyone else on the offense for Tampa Bay, or do you want to talk about their offense and how you feel like our defense needs to stop Tom Brady and the Bucs to make sure that they don't get to 20 points and we win this game?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to defense, our defense here in a little bit. I do want to talk about the Tampa Bay defense because I think that's going to be the important thing, and that's going to be the focus for this Packers offense this week. First of all, The Tampa Bay defense through 2 games is first in the league in points. They're allowing 6.5 per game. And I know it's only 2 games, and, the Packers only scored 7 in their first game. So it's kind of, I won't say anomalous, but it's only, you have a small sample size. But that said, they're first in the league at this point in time. They're first in the league in sacks. They have 10 sacks through 2 games. So that's going to be something we need to keep an eye on. We need to have our offensive line playing really well against this team. They've got, Shaq Barrett and Levante David, guys we're familiar with, and then Devin White, who has 3 sacks so far this year, leading the team. Just something to be concerned about, something to keep an eye on. Doesn't look like Bakhtiari is going to be back, but if Elton Jenkins can go again this week, I feel a lot better.
That's true. You're right. Through 2 games, anyone can be first or second in anything. The Dolphins are second in the NFL for yards for or points for. I don't think that will hold up too long, and I think after this game and definitely after the Bucs play the Chiefs, this defense will come back to reality. Something that I think is interesting, they've played the Cowboys and the Saints, which aren't necessarily juggernauts of teams, not necessarily teams that maybe have a chance at getting, the Saints at least into a wild card spot. But what I found interesting, especially in this last game, the Bucs were giving up for just about every rusher 4 to 6 yards per carry. This is the Bucs defense now, are giving up 4 to 6 yards per carry, and they played the Saints last week, who were out, where Alvin Kamara was not playing, right? So I think that's, I hate to basically repeat last week's episode, but the run game for defense for the Bucs defense is not stellar, and I think that's the way to beat these guys. Just pound the ball down their throat through our 2 guys.
Yeah, I think that and the fact that that's the only way so far this year we've been able to really move the football. I think that's going to be our game plan until somebody can kind of the cream rises to the crop from the wide receiver position or the pass catcher position. Yep. But yeah, I agree with you. That said, though, too, this defense is 5th in the league in yards per game, only allowing 276. So points and yards are going to be at a premium in this game. I think it's going to be a tough go no matter what. Even though they do have a depleted offense, and they have they have a really good defense, and our offense hasn't really come into its own, and I think that's not going to happen for a while. So this is going to be kind of classic, unstoppable force meets immovable object, but at a way lesser scale. So just 2 really weak opponents, sort of.
This is gonna be like the JV team looking like they're playing.
Yeah, 2 JV teams going at it. No, but both teams are just kind of hobbling along at this point. We talked about the Bucs offense, but we found out today that Sammy Watkins is out for this game, who is kind of essentially our leading receiver. Yeah, what a shocker. I didn't think it was going to be this fast. Especially with only, 4 catches in each game. Go ahead.
Did he do something last week that I just missed? Was there any comment at all during the game? Sammy's on the sideline.
Not that I saw it during the game, but it sounds like he tweaked a hamstring, and that could have been in the game, and it could have been in practice. I actually don't know, but he hasn't practiced the last couple of days, and he's not going to play this week. We have a couple of other guys that are kind of key contributors on the injury report too. Randall Cobb is questionable. He's been sick all week. We don't know what's going on there. It could be a flu, or it could be COVID. We don't know. But he is listed as questionable. Christian Watson is listed as questionable as well, with a hamstring injury. We could be without a couple of our top targets this week. So if that's the case, to your point earlier, it's going to be A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones again, and maybe we'll have Romeo Doubs, or somebody else be able to kind of pick up Samori Toure, be able to pick up the slack there. But that kind of brings me to my player of the week, and I'm going with Robert Tonyan, and that's mainly because of the injury situation. He is a proven pass catcher for this team. I think he's going to be probably your go-to guy, maybe in the red zone, or at least just to pick up a third down. Alan Lazard is on the injury report too, and but he'll probably play. His ankle they've been kind of nursing his ankle the last couple of weeks, but he'll probably play, but he's not at 100%. So that's kind of my player for the week. And if Robert Tonyan has a big game, something like 5 or 6 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown, I think we'll be okay.
Do you have, and maybe I can go first if you need time to think about it, but do you have anyone on the defensive side of the ball that you think needs to have a heck of a game to make sure that we win this game this weekend?
Why don't you give me your player, and I will tell you. I'll think about the defense for a second.
So defensively, and maybe I'll spur something on for you. Defensively, it's a name that we heard a lot in the offseason because it was a little bit, I don't know, kind of a splashy move. But Jaron Reed, we haven't heard a lot about him so far through weeks 1 and 2. Now the Vikings did not run great against us. That's because Justin Jefferson, gave him a 21-point lead within 3 passes. But we got ran all over when Chicago came up to Green Bay despite us winning. So I think Jaron Reed in the defensive front helping out Kenny Clark is going to be huge because, like we've talked about, all our receivers are out on both sides of the ball, and whoever runs the ball most effectively is going to win this game, I believe. And I know Kenny's going to do his part. So I think Jaron Reed is going to be a huge force in the middle there, and if he has a big game, I think we can definitely shut down this basically one threat from offense, which is their run game.
Okay.
How about you defensively?
I'm gonna go with you mentioned going stuffing the middle. I'm gonna go with Quay Walker because he is a fast middle linebacker. He's kind of hopefully the answer, or at least a really nice compliment to Devondre Campbell. I think since he's got so much speed, I think he's going to have to be able to, jump up into the box and make any tackles that, if our D line is getting blocked, open holes are opening up. Quay Walker has got the speed and hopefully the wherewithal to kind of jump those holes and be able to stop any, 2-3 yard gain from becoming a 6-7 yard gain. So I'm thinking Quay Walker's my pick. And I think, again, a lot of the game plan for Tampa Bay is going to be quick passes, dink and dunk, throws over the middle. And I think that's kind of an opportunity for Quay to kind of showcase his speed and his athleticism.
Yeah, and I honestly think that's a mirror image of what our game plan should be, because offensively it's got to be, again, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Like, there's just no other, unless you want to pick a offensive lineman, which is fine, but there's just no other way. You're not going to pick, Amari Rodgers to have the game of his life, right? I wouldn't trust that, although that would be nice to have a nice special teams moment from him. But I just got to pick the backfield for our offensive players of the week, and I hope it's Aaron Jones again, because I think that really kind of reminded us. I know we have a really good two-headed horse with Dillon in there, but Aaron Jones is special when it comes to moving the ball around, right? When we have that victory in, or we have a little bit of a lead, and we want to pound the team to death, I think that's where A.J. Dillon really comes in. But man, it's just so fun to see Aaron Jones flash around, get outside, make that amazing catch on the sideline last week. So I hope we see more of that. So offensively, quick dink and dunk passes. I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers. I swear I say this every week. I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers hold the ball more than 2.5 seconds. Let's get the ball out of his hand and let's pound these guys to death, and let's figure out a way to get a victory.
Yeah, I agree. What does this defense have to do to win this game? What is the key on defense this week, do you think?
It's exactly what I said, right? It's got to be stop the run. Don't let the don't let the stupid play behind you. Don't let some no-namer get behind you for a deep bomb. I don't think that's going to happen. But it's got to be our two guys. I think we nailed it. I think we should be patted on the back for that one. But Jaron Reed, Kenny Clark, and Quay Walker coming down, and then I hope Barry plays man with a little bit of zone, because that seemed to work for us last week against a team that was primarily trying to run, which again I think Tampa's going to do. And I think our guys seem to like that man type of coverage a little bit more. So I hope our game plan shifts to our players a little bit, and we get after that run game. Yeah,
I agree for sure. Defensively, for me, it's be really good on first and second down, force the Bucs into third and long situations, and get off the field on third down.